Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most fundamental human qualities, strength. And I'm not talking about lifting weights. I'm talking about that inner fire, that force inside all of us that lets us endure, overcome, and, well, rise. This whole explainer actually kicked off because of this one powerful line from a Reddit user, Cheshire, who was really trying to figure out how to make it in the world alone. They ended their post with this simple thank you to others for sharing their own stories.
And that's the real question we're tackling today, isn't it? The person who wrote this felt like they had no support system to lean on. So what happens when there's no one else's strength to borrow? Where on earth do you find your own?
You know, for so many people, like Cheshire, they've had to learn absolutely everything from scratch. Cooking, driving, handling money, making huge life decisions, all without a safety net. It's like having to rebuild your entire world after a disaster, with no one but yourself to count on.
So what is this inner power actually made of? What's in our toolkit? Look, adversity is a part of life, we all know that. But our ability to get through it usually comes down to a couple of key things. Let's break down the anatomy of that strength.
First up, resilience. Now, this isn't about being invincible or avoiding getting hit. It's actually the opposite. It's all about how we get back up and adapt after life knocks us flat. It's having this deep-down belief that you can handle it and knowing how to tap into your own resources to get through.
And then you've got resilience as partner in crime, determination. So if resilience is the ability to bounce back, determination is the engine that keeps you pushing forward in the first place. It's that stubborn refusal to give up on your goal no matter how tough it gets.
And this quote just nails it. It gets right to the heart of the matter. The things that happen to us, a lot of the time we can't control them, but our reaction, our resilience, our determination, that's where our real power is.
All right, so this isn't all just theory and nice-sounding words. These are real forces that have shaped some of the most famous people in history. And their stories show us something really important. Sometimes, failing hard at the beginning is exactly what you need for incredible success later on.
Let's start with Thomas Edison. Today, the name Edison is basically a synonym for genius inventor. But his early life, it was full of people telling him he was a failure. He was even kicked out of school because his teachers thought he was unteachable.
10,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. 10,000 failed attempts. I mean, for most of us, we'd have given up after, 100? Maybe? But for Edison, this was just part of the job.
And this is the magic right here. He completely reframed it. He didn't see a single one of those attempts as a failure. He saw it as learning. Every mistake was just more data, getting him one step closer to the answer. That's the mindset. And this isn't some one-off story. This pattern is everywhere. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because they said he wasn't creative enough. His first company went totally bankrupt. And J.K. Rowling, she got rejection after rejection for Harry Potter, all while she was a single mom just trying to get by.
I love this quote from Rowling because it completely flips the script on what rock bottom means. For her, hitting the lowest point wasn't the end, it was a fresh start. It was a solid foundation where she could finally rebuild without being afraid of falling anymore.
And Nelson Mandela gives us this incredible perspective. The real measure of a person isn't their highlight reel of successes. It's not about never falling. It's about the rising. The strength is forged in the act of getting back up every single time. You know, this incredible power to rise, to just keep going, has been captured so perfectly in a poem that's become this anthem for anyone who's ever been underestimated or pushed down. Maya Angelou's Still I Rise. I mean, from the very first lines, she's not pulling any punches. She's looking oppression right in the eye, acknowledging the lies, the degradation, and then she immediately promises this defiant, unstoppable comeback. And then the poem just builds. It escalates from lies and dirt to words that feel like bullets, looks that cut like knives, and a hatefulness that tries to kill the spirit. But the response? It stays exactly the same. An unbreakable spirit that will rise as naturally and as unstoppably as air. And what's so crucial to understand is that the I in this poem, it's not just one person's story. It's a collective we. It's the voice of an entire people, a community rising together from this history of pain, and it's a celebration of the strength of Blackness and of womanhood. The final lines, wow, they just transform this personal defiance into this incredible, triumphant legacy. The act of rising isn't just for yourself, it's for everyone who came before you.
It's about becoming the living, breathing fulfillment of their dream for freedom and hope.
So, okay, these stories, this poem, they're incredibly inspiring. But how do we actually do this in our own lives? Especially when we feel totally alone in the fight, just like that Reddit user we started with.
Well, the really good news is that research shows resilience isn't some magical trait you're born with. It's a skill, and you can build it. It usually starts with self-awareness, just understanding your own thoughts and feelings. From there, you can start to reframe those big challenges as chances to grow. And even if you feel alone, seeking out even small connections can make a huge difference, helping you build a healthier lifestyle and develop real coping strategies for when things get tough.
And that brings us full circle. That journey of having to figure it all out by yourself, it's just brutally hard. But here's the thing. Every single challenge you overcome, every mistake you learn from, it forges this unique, powerful kind of resilience, a strength that is 100% your own.
Bob Marley just said it so perfectly. So often, we don't even know this incredible strength is inside us. It only reveals itself when we're backed into a corner, when being strong is literally the only option we have left. That's when we find out what we're really made of.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. We can't control the fact that life is going to throw challenges at us. Adversity, that's a given. But our response, whether we let our setbacks define us or whether we let our comeback define us, that choice, that power is always in our hands. The story is yours to write.